Welcome, Weeb course. Let's go, let's go. So, let's see. Okay, good. We have some people coming in. So, for anyone that doesn't know, my name is Shashank, and I'm a data analyst working at Nordstrom. You can see over there, which is a major North American fashion retailer. We operate in the United States and in Canada, and we operate usually on the higher end of prices as far as fashion is concerned. And this is a live stream I do. I try and do it once a week. Oh, check it out. I'm McLaren. But this is a live stream I try and do once a week in order to just like answer people's questions about analytics, data science, data analysts, anything that you might have. So feel free to leave questions in the chat. Should probably look ahead of me before I cross the street. Welcome, everyone. So this is my normal weekly live stream. Hey, Weeb Course, welcome. Great to see you again. Always a pleasure having you here. All right, welcome, Devin, welcome. I'm trying to see how I can there we go, yeah. You have to like swipe up to like show all of the chats all at once. So as a quick overview, I'm actually in Denver, Colorado today, and we are going to a baseball game later. So I have to go grab some beer and some pizza before the game. But let's start answering your questions. Okay, so what's a good way to get started with data analytics? I'd say pick up SQL, pick up Python. Those are two tremendous skills that are very useful for data analysts all over. We're actually interviewing for positions at Nordstrom right now, and some of the candidates we have coming in, they don't have the necessary SQL and Python skills necessary to actually like do the job. So I would say that like SQL and Python are probably like your biggest bang for buck skills when it comes to analytics. So I'd do that first. And also it depends on like where you are, what you're doing. Do you have like a master's degree? Do you have like a bachelor's? That all drastically changes what I would recommend you do. Okay, Hassan Fahim. I'm having problems getting job interviews. I think my CV is all right, but doesn't seem so. So also, if you're able to, if people could also like list where you're saying, like where you are messaging from, it'll give me a little bit of context. So obviously, if you're coming in from the U.S., I can offer you better advice because I work in the U.S. And let's see, as far as not getting interviews, typically, so I've seen a lot of people who, especially technical people, and I very much count myself as part of this camp, oftentimes don't know how to write resumes very well. So what happens, what we'll do, a lot of the times, like if you know like SQL and Python and everything, you'll list down every single like thing you've done, but not necessarily the business impact of what you've done. At the end of the day, the revenue you bring for the business is the only thing that matters to a lot of HR people. And so what you have to do is you have to like list out the impact first, then action after that. So what a lot of people will do, they'll be like, I created a machine learning model that did X, Y, Z. And that's not what you want to write out on your resume. What you actually want to write is save the company $5 million or whatever the number is, $100,000 by eliminating 10 hours of manual labor through a machine learning model that I created. So if you're not getting interviews, there's a decent chance, some of it's just luck, but there's also a decent chance that your resume is not geared towards an HR recruiters and like what they're looking for. They're really looking for like, what is the impact of what you've done? And this is one of the things that they teach you in B school. I didn't go to B school. I had a lot of friends in B school, but they don't teach you when, for a lot of people that like go to engineering school and other analytic stuff. Are you going to do a video about Git? Yeah, I don't see why not. I'll probably do one about Git. Let's see. Caesar Lara. How old were you when you got into data analytics? I was 22, 23. One of those. I forgot which one exactly. I think I was 23. So I got it as my first job, basically. I was super lucky that like the first job I got was like an analytics job. And be sure to let me know if you guys can't hear me. I'm guessing that since Hassan just said thank you, that you guys did hear me. And actually, yes, I'm in Denver right now. It's just so there's a baseball game today, so everyone's just getting ready to go. It's like, oh, whoops. All right, let's keep going down this list. Welcome, everyone. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section below. I go through questions top to bottom. Any questions you have about analytics, data science, stuff like that, I got you. So, let's see. Zaki Kiki. Hi, I want to be a data analyst. Please, where could I learn, and do I need to learn Python? I would say it depends on the role. So the thing about like analytics is that it works kind of on a spectrum of like, you have people that are like very, very technical, and you have people that are like less technical. But you will probably need at least some level of technical skills, and Python is a like great bang for your buck skill. It's not too difficult to learn, but once you learn it and you learn it well enough, then you can drastically increase your salary expectations and your the number of jobs that you're able to get. I was able to charge significantly more to my clients, um, and also like get better jobs once I knew Python, because the amount of value I could bring was significantly higher because it's an open source language, and because the flexibility of what I could do was significantly higher because I didn't need an expensive piece of software. I used to use Alteryx for everything. I didn't need to buy an expensive piece of software to like do all the work that I did. So um, if you want to see where to learn, then just go to my YouTube channel. I have a video on everything you need to know about Python, and then a beginner SQL course on my channel. Hey, the editor, what's up? What's up? Devin Barnes, yes, you 100% can. Send me an email, or if you're on my LinkedIn, send me a LinkedIn message too. Yeah, let's get it. Sounds interesting. Okay, so the editor, as a programmer, when should you start learning data structures and algos? So I think that question is a little bit out of my wheelhouse because I'm not a software developer. I do develop software, but I'm not a software developer. And me developing software is mostly like for my clients and stuff, just because like I know how to. Um, so that's a difficult question for me to answer. How does the tech industry look at self-taught individuals? They don't care. They're all for self-taught individuals. Okay. I need to be clear about that. Like obviously, if you're looking at like Google and Facebook and stuff, the people applying to those companies oftentimes have like really solid CS degrees. So you are up against some very stiff competition. I will put it that way. And like there's a lot of memes out there, and like I have some friends that have like CS degrees, and it's really obvious when you like talk to a self-taught programmer that they think about the world very differently than like a someone who has a CS degree will think about software development, and that can be both a good and a bad thing. Oftentimes, it usually has to do with like bad practices, as far as like if you're self-taught, you're kind of just like doing whatever's fastest to get to whatever result you want to get to. So I would say that the opportunity is there, but just know if you're applying to like one of those like elite companies, like the FANG companies, you're going to be up against some like really stiff CS competition. Alex DeBaum, working for a company or freelancing? So are you asking if I do that or if I recommend it? I personally do both. Um, I personally recommend working at a company, honestly. Like if you had to choose one or the other, I recommend working at a company because you'll get a much more like steady salary doing that. And the resources that you get access to working at a company are going to be, well, not always greater, because you could always like freelance for a really like interesting company, but the resources that you get a hold of, like working, like being an employee at a company and the job security you get, I think is something that like I wouldn't trade off until I was like very sure of my skill set. So that's kind of my advice on that. All right, third year comp sci student. I want to pursue a career in data science. What should be the roadmap? Learn Python, learn SQL. And especially when you're doing that, learn things like pandas and like don't learn like or yeah, learn things like pandas, and then heavily focus on creating a project portfolio that shows like the different like that shows like an end-to-end analysis that you were able to do. So that's what I would focus on. I think I would do that. Welcome everyone, welcome. So for anyone wondering, my name is Shashank. I'm a data analyst. I work in the United States. I do one of these live streams usually every Friday. I don't think I did one last Friday, but today we're just gonna go grab some beer and pizza because we're gonna go to a baseball game soon. I'm going to a baseball game soon. And then in the meanwhile, just gonna answer some questions that you guys might have. All right, so I spent the last 6 to 8 weeks teaching myself SQL, Pandas, and Tableau. Where can I find specific benchmarks so I can accurately judge uh, WRT technical interviews? I'm guessing that like basically where do you stand with technical interviews? That's a bit of a tough one. There's this website called interviewqs.com. So interview the letter Q and then an s.com. And they actually have some pretty solid, they have some solid questions that you can like check out. Some of them are a little bit too software developer. Like they ask you like these like questions like how to manipulate arrays and stuff. And it's like not stuff you would ever use in analytics. Because you're mostly doing everything in pandas data frames. And so, but they also do have like some excellent data questions. So, yeah, I would go check them out, and I think that's a good benchmark as like, are you ready or not? So, but yeah, as far as like a true benchmark, that's a tough one. I mean, maybe I need to make one. That actually might maybe that's a product I can make now that I think about it. Like, how ready are you for a data analyst interview? Because like leet code is good, but leet code is it's made for software engineers. So like I think it's good in that like it gets you like used to typing and like used to answering interview questions. But the questions you're asked over there are not going to be the types of questions you're asked in like a data analyst interview. So there is that. So Caesar, did you get a degree in data science? One second, I gotta make sure this person doesn't back up into me. Did you get a degree in data science? How necessary is a degree in data science to get into data analytics? So no, I actually have a degree in chemistry. Um, and I would say a degree in data science is not at all necessary. Like those degrees are brand new, and like obviously, if you get one, it's not going to hurt you at all. But those degrees are so new that I think, and we need so many data scientists and data analysts, and the degrees are so new that it's physically impossible for us to hire people purely from that degree path. Um, Nor is it necessary. At the end of the day, like there's three aspects to being a good analytics professional. You have your domain expertise, you have your computer expertise, and then you have your mathematical expertise, right? And as long as you have two of those things, then I think you'll make a fairly dangerous combination. Although your goal should be to be at least decent in all three of those things. Um, and as far as a data professionals or as far as like like a degree and everything, like you could learn those things separately. Like you could learn Python and SQL to get the computer skills, and then domain skills can come from like really anything. Chemistry, supply chain, um, finance. You can have anything that's domain expertise. All right. Got to make sure I cross the street safely. Okay, so I moved to USA this week. Do I need to learn myself or find training in New York City? I mean, it's entirely up to you. Some people actually like work really well by this. Oh, hey, what's up, Jin Young? Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Okay, so Jin Young, I'll get to your question in a second. So for anyone that doesn't know, Jin Young and I went to college together, so it's great to see him in the chat. But Zaki Kiki, I moved to the USA this week. Do I need to learn by myself or find training in New York City? I think it depends on you. For me, I just trained myself, and I just like sat down in front of a computer for like 6 hours a day and just like cranked out problem after problem. Like sat through a bunch of tutorials, learned a bunch of stuff. Ooh, it looks fun. This looks like a fun little area. Um, but not everyone learns well like that, and like it also benefited me where like I really developed these school skills during the like in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic. So like last year was like when I was like really like hammering in these skills, and it was super easy when I was obviously in the middle of the pandemic there was nothing else to do. So I think it entirely depends on you. I would say that like the fastest route is the best route. So if you would learn faster by being inside a course, do the course. And if you would learn fast, if you can learn just as fast by yourself, do it yourself. Okay, let's see. So Jin Young, let's see what we got here. One second. Okay, so do you have any go-to resources for learning how to use Google Analytics and Google Tag Manager for SEO? So I actually don't really know much in the realm of like SEO, and I'm not very like good at it. Um, Google Analytics and Google Tag Manager. I know. So Google Analytics, there are some like tremendous courses on Udemy. I'll see if I can find one and like I'll message you about it. But there are like tremendous courses on Udemy for Google Analytics specifically. So sorry, I couldn't be more help. That's kind of like the extent of what I know about Google Analytics. And I think Google Analytics is a tremendous skill to learn. It's like it's not one I know because I've been able to keep myself busy doing other stuff. But I see so many jobs out there for like Google Analytics, like people that like know how that stuff works. So I think it's a tremendous skill to pick up. But Udemy is probably a good bet for that. All right, Caesar Lara, did software engineering as a career path catch your eye? Yeah, and it still kind of does. And also, like, the thing is, if I'm talking to someone who's like sufficiently technologically illiterate, and I don't mean that as a diss. I just mean it like as a descriptive term. Like I'll talk to my grandma and stuff sometimes. I'll just say I'm a software engineer because it's like probably the closest analog to what I do. That like some people would understand, but yeah, I think the career path is interesting. I'm definitely not against going there, but I need to focus on something, and I figure like, okay, let me just focus on data science for now, and if I want to get into software engineering, I'll do it later. But long story short, it definitely catches my eye, but it's not really a focus at the moment. All right. Ian Thompson, do you plan on becoming a data scientist eventually? Yes, I'm actually gunning to become a data scientist at my current company right now. So I'm a data analyst level 3 at my company, which is the second most senior level data scientist or data analyst. Like there's a data analyst senior, but I'm really gunning to become a data scientist instead of like becoming a data analyst senior. What programs for SQL you use? I use dbeaver. So dbeaver is an open source SQL data, like it's an open source like I forget what you call those things, but like a user interface like access SQL databases. So that's what I use. Thoughts on Google Analytics certificate? I'm currently industrial. Oh hey, industrial systems engineering. My old boss was a ICE major. Good stuff. Are you at Texas A&M? By the way, I'm just wondering because like my old boss and my brother both went to Texas A&M, and they got that's the major they got. Ryan Rodriguez. Google Data Analytics certificate. It's hard to say. Like I've gone through the content, and the only complaint I have is that it teaches you R instead of Python, which I personally would say if you're starting from scratch and you don't have a preference and you're not like you don't already know what you have to know for it, you don't already like know which language you have to know for a specific job, I'd say probably just go for Python. It's more widely used. And if like for example you decide not to pursue a career in analytics, Python's a general purpose programming language that you can use for just about anything, which is why I would recommend Python over R. And I would say that's probably the only complaint I have about the analytics certificate is that they do the certificate in R, not in Python. But otherwise, other than that, it sounds pretty good. As far as like the guarantee of like people getting jobs and stuff, like the certificate just came out, so no one really knows if like, you're gonna get a job out of it or not. It's hard to tell. All right. Any knowledge of business required? Not to start, but I think the most effective data analysts understand their company and understand the financial flow, like the flow of money within their company, very well. Because it's really easy for technical people to get really caught up in like the nitty gritty of the technical work they do. Oh, hey, well, that's awesome, Ryan Rodriguez. That's when you said industrial systems engineering. I'm like, oh yeah, like I know a couple of those from Texas A&M. That's why I was wondering if you were from A&M. Good stuff, good stuff. It's a tremendous college, great value for the money. It's a really great school. So any knowledge of business, I would say not to start, but Fahad, you should definitely like whatever company you're in, don't get too sucked into like only the analytical work of what you're doing. Also like learn how finance works and learn how like the actual flow of money within your company works, because that is where you'll be able to figure out which analyses actually unlock the biggest value. So long story short, in order to start, I don't believe you need it. But I think to be successful, the most successful analysts are people that understand their business and understand the business world very well. Obviously, I'm talking about like corporate analysts. Weeb Course 101 for junior data analysts is better to apply for a startup than a middle or large company. So there's advantages to both. So I work at Nordstrom now, which is it's not like a mega corporation, so it's not like GM or something, but it's a fairly large company. Like it's definitely not small. And I used to work at a company where I was the only analyst on the team. So I've kind of seen both sides of it. It wasn't a startup per se, but like it had like a startup like environment. Um, and I would say that there are benefits to both. The cool thing about a startup-like environment is that you can implement, and it depends on how many people are there, right? You can kind of implement like whatever solutions you want to, like very quickly, or like the like amount of people you have to like go around and stuff is very small. Um, the number of people you have to like circumvent and go around is like very small. So I would say that's one benefit of a startup. You can move a lot faster, but the problem is you also tend to pick up like bad habits and or you can pick up bad habits and kind of like, oh, this solution works, so let's just do it. Whereas in a larger organization, the solution that just works oftentimes won't get past engineering. And a large company will like force good habits on you, but you move a lot slower. So I noticed that like people will learn a lot faster at startups, but then I would say you probably should move to a larger company later. That way you build good habits. So I think a startup is not a bad idea to start. Just understand that like you probably should move to a large organization at some point in time. Why do you drink? I mean, I like drinking. It's fun to do, and it's a Friday, and I worked hard this week, so that's why we're drinking. Could you do video examples from zero how you start solving a problem and analyzing? Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I don't now that I think about it, I don't think I've ever actually done that. And I think that's a tremendous idea. So that's a great idea. Zaki Kiki, I will definitely do that. Do you know, happen to know any sheets, tasks, exercise you can do to practice SQL and Python? I am actually sorry, I don't, but let me see if I can put together some resources and put it up on my YouTube channel. Tejas, how important is it to go boom gang on analytics? It's very important if you ever want to do anything worthwhile in analytics. Or you could stay an analytic. If you want to be an analytics Chad, you have to go boom gang. That's the thing. That's what it comes down to. All right. 180 Digi. That's good to know. I don't have any real white collar experience, and I was worried that would hold me back. I've been reading books to fill in the gaps. And you know what? I think that's all you need. You like obviously come very prepared for your interview. You don't want to be underprepared for an interview, and you don't want to sound like you don't know what you're talking about. So I think you reading the books is definitely a great idea, and definitely like the exact moves you should be making. There you go. Oh, also, by the way, before I move on, if you guys haven't liked this live stream, make sure to like the live stream and comment if you can, because it really improves my engagement metrics, which like let other people know what we're doing over here, and let other people see the work we're putting out over here. All right. Okay. Abrar Khan, is data analytics within smart manufacturing increasing? Dude, hell yeah. So analytics is awesome, man, because like analytics is kind of like math, okay, in the sense that it's not like saying finance. We're like, or well, finance is an example. It's not like supply chain, for example, right? Like supply chain is like a subject matter that like you work in supply chain and it can help many aspects of the business, but it's still like one thing. Analytics is a skill. So analytics will be used in literally everything. So it's kind of like that's why I said it's kind of like math. Math is used in literally everything. So is analytics. And I think that the usage in all industries is increasing rapidly and increasing way faster than we can actually pull in analysts. So salaries are going up and so are job opportunities at the same time, but not enough people are getting into it. So I think, yeah, it's a great place to be. Any opinions on health data analytics? No specific ones, but my understanding is that in the tech world, fintech, health tech, and edutech are like three great places to be in right now. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a great place to be in. Maximus Zorocell, hey man, I joined a new company as a data analyst, and they're only making me do Excel work and reporting. Should I stay here long term? They're paying me good money. 70K is a good money for that. I would say here's the thing: while you're at that job, actively start applying to other jobs because you're in a position of power right now. So I'm always like, never relinquish your position of power. Oh, nice car. Never relinquish your position of power in the sense that you have a great job that's paying you 70K. That's amazing, dude. And the work is relatively easy. Take some time off to take some time while you're in your job to go apply to like new jobs. And then know that you always have your really like well-paying job backing you up. I'm personally the person that's like, generally speaking, don't like, if you can avoid it, like don't quit and start applying. And especially you're in a great position. So I'd say try and switch companies because you don't want to stagnate. It's really easy to stagnate, especially as you start making a lot of income. It's really easy to stagnate in your skills and kind of like not move up as fast as you could. So I would definitely switch companies, but use that 70K as like kind of your baseline. Be like, oh yeah, my next company that you guys need to pay me like 90K or something like that. So that's what I would say. All right, guys. So I'm just gonna walk in for a second and get some pizza. So give me a second. Oh, whoops. Let's see. Okay. Mr. Bobman 82. Hey, wait, what's up, Mr. Bobman? How can you incorporate yourself into your company that already has a full team? So, Mr. Bobman, would you be able to like reiterate what that question actually is? I'm not really understanding what you mean by that. Fahad, like your live stream and subscribe. Your walkthroughs of data analysis problems on different types. Oh, thank you so much, Fahad. That's so nice of you. All right, Emmanuel Eric Yasami. I'm about to start learning data analytics from ground zero. I'm gonna start with SQL and Tableau. Any advice? Yeah, dude, have a great weekend too. I think SQL and Tableau are a great place to start off with, in that they're relatively easier skills to pick up. And I think it's a tremendous place to start off with. I have both a Tableau and a SQL course on my YouTube channel, so be sure to check that out. I think you can't go wrong doing that. Yeah, no problem. So we're grabbing pizza right now. Looks like they got some good desserts too. Would you make a video on privacy and data science? Yeah, I think that's a good idea. There's a lot of talk about ethical AI and like the ethics of using like artificial intelligence, because like, for example, if you train your algorithms the wrong way, they can be like racially biased, they can be like gender biased, stuff like that. So discussions of that are becoming much more important. I think people are starting to realize that like you actually need to focus on that kind of stuff. And I think like a general video on like privacy and what would you call it? Ethics and AI would be really cool. So yeah, I think that's a great idea for a video. I'll note that down. HIPAA laws for healthcare data. Yeah. I don't know if I can comment on that myself, but I can definitely research and take a look at it. You got any other questions? Microsoft certification helps you get a job for a data analyst. I definitely would say it doesn't hurt. And if the certification helps you learn, then that's not a bad idea. Oh, sweet. Yeah, yeah. If anyone's looking, like, I have a free Python course, a free SQL course, and a free Tableau course on my channel. So definitely check it out. What's the most efficient way to learn Python for data analyst? So testing your skills, that's a little bit of a difficult one. If you want to see the most efficient way, I would say take my course on my YouTube channel. It's 3 hours, and it's everything you need to know for basic data manipulation to get into the analytics field. Ideas for data analytics in the automotive industry. Like as in like getting a job in there, or like once you already have a job, like what analytics can you do? I just want to make sure I don't miss my order. It's going well. How's yours? I actually have an order already. Pickup for Shashank. Shashank. Yeah. It's a long ass name, Shashank. Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Thanks, guys. Excuse me. All right, we got our pizza, guys. All right, so we got our pizza. Now we just got to go get our beer. It's gonna be fun carrying this around the city. Oh, dude, this guy's car's sweet. So it's a V10 Audi R8. Nice. I like the paint job he has on it. It's really nice. The guy was just busting out like a stack of 20s. So actually, I have a question for you guys. Okay, so the guy that owns that R8, like busted out a stack of 20s and just and like started like paying for everything with that. Um, so my basic understanding is, all right, let's cross the street. I think I could probably safely cross it now. All right. Okay, we crossed the street successfully. Let's get back to the questions. Yeah. So the fighter jet. I saw your question about the automotive industry. Yeah. Could you be a bit more specific? Are you talking about like getting a job in the automotive industry, or like once you're there, what analysts should you do? Ryan Rodriguez. Yes, the most efficient way is to learn it through my the Python course I have on my YouTube channel, because I cut out all the BS and I show you only like what you need to know in order to get started with analytics and in Python. Because there's a lot of stuff, like for example, like classes and stuff like that, which you should learn eventually. But like you can get really like you can get pretty deep into analytics without ever knowing what a class is, and ever creating a class, because like when you're working as an analyst, like a lot of the times you're just working with pandas, which is a specific library in Python. Ooh, this is nice. So this is a Toyota Altezza, in the U.S. known as an IS300. So they're just like they have this really cool engine inside them. Like it's a variant of the engine that was inside the Toyota Supra in the '90s, aka Paul Walker's car in the first Fast and the Furious. All right, okay, so Mr. Bob, man, let's get to your question here. Got to make sure I don't trip anywhere. Okay, what's my small startup has a few people already dealing with most of the finances in my company, and in regards to other data sources that come in, I do not know how to make them necessarily profitable or use for the company. Trying to just figure out how I can actually be of use and have a reason to get paid for my extra work. I know it's okay. I kind of see what you're saying. Yeah, like I think every job I've started, I've had like that issue where it's like, okay, how do I like be useful? And this is something I should like say about analytics, that I think is important for like analytics professionals to understand. Although the world needs more and more analysts, analysts are not like people in finance. People like your company can't function without people in finance. The company will function just fine without its analysts. And it's important to understand that like that's kind of like par for the course with like working in this field, where like a lot of companies, it's not a necessary position, and so finding work that really is value add can be a little bit difficult. I'm not saying it's not important, but it's not necessary. Um, that being said, to answer your question, there's a couple of things you can do. I think the biggest thing I've done is I usually go around and just start asking people, like I introduce myself to people, and even just random people, right? And then I start asking them, like, hey, what's your biggest pain point? What like report do you run on a regular basis that you like don't want to keep running, or like that I can automate for you? Um, I think those kinds of questions are like a great way to like get an understanding of like what the actual pain points are in the business, and then just start solving them one after another. And then usually what'll happen is like you'll start to like iterate on tasks one after another. You'll say like, okay, now that we've automated this thing, can we actually make it like smarter? Can we use like machine learning over here? Can we use like some stats here to make it like more intelligent? Um, a key example is like there was this warranty process that was run in my first company like all the time, and in my introduction to a the manager that ran that process, he just offhandedly mentioned it, and then I found out, I'm like, oh wait, this is like super automatable, and then I just automated it for him. So I think that's like one route you could take. There are multiple routes to take, and that's just one. All right, Austin Lee, just about finished with the Google Analytics cert, but I don't feel like I have enough experience to be a competitive analyst candidate. Any recs for building my work portfolio? Find something you're super interested in and do a like end like ask yourself questions about it. The example I usually give is I'm like super into cars, and so like the example I would give is like yeah, because I'm super into cars, I would like look up crash data from like the American like the National Highway Safety Administration or something like that. It's like and they have all this like crash data they have on like crash tests for different cars, and just analyzing that data and like asking myself question after question on that data was super interesting to me. So I think that's one thing that you can do to like buff up your skills. Just like start analyzing data. And I would also say like you don't know if you're going to be a competitive applicant until you apply. So I think one thing a lot of people get caught up on is like making like polishing their resume to be the most perfect thing ever, when at the end of the day the only experience that really matters is the experience you get in the workforce, and you can only get that if you apply. So I would definitely say like um, don't like hesitate on applying, even if you don't think you're the most competitive applicant, because you never know. You might be able to jump into a position that like you theoretically weren't qualified for, but like the stars aligned and it worked out. Miguel Hernandez, hey Shashank, what's the best way to convince you to be my mentor? Nice question, man. No, thank you. It really is nice of you to say that. I have a lot on my plate right now. I would really like to get into like mentorship, um, but yeah, I just have a lot on my plate right now, and this is kind of like the next closest thing. Just do my YouTube channel, like these Q&As, where it's like answer y'all's questions, um, en masse. All right. What is your favorite car? Ooh, interesting question. Ooh, that's a tough one. I think so. Here's a better one. I'll put it this way: the next car I want to buy is I'm debating between an M4, a modern Supra, and like an Audi S5. You know, like those types of cars, like sports coupes, are kind of what I'm like debating it with right now. So I would say those are like I can't say my favorite. Oh, you know what? Favorite McLaren F1. McLaren F1. Yeah, there you go. That's my favorite car. Yeah. Um, but yeah. All right. Let's see. Oh, we're about to go into the train station. Okay, La French Nelly, you mentioned before you are more extroverted than introverted. Any advice for someone who might be introverted to be better at being extroverted? Well, you know what I always say? I always say, like, play to your strengths. And then, obviously, like, there are, like if you're introverted, right? I think a great thing that a lot of, like, I've seen with a lot of, like, my introvert friends is that they usually have, like, a very strong ability to, like, listen and truly understand what other people are saying. A lot of extroverted people, myself included, just talk so much that, like, it can sometimes be difficult to, like, actually, like, listen to people and understand what they're saying. So I would say definitely, like, take advantage of the fact that you're an introvert. Like, as far as extroversion is concerned, like, Toastmasters is a great way to, like, build public speaking skills. Like, everyone should be good at public speaking. I would say that. And it's not like introverts can't be good at public speaking. Tim Cook himself is an introvert and is a tremendous public speaker. I think even though, yeah, I saw that one. Yeah, it's thundering over here. Okay, so is a presentation of your projects a good idea for an interview, or should you just present your projects? No one ever does that. It's really really funny. Um, my brother, who has no education in software engineering, got a software engineering job. One, because, like, he actually, like, learned it on, like, his own, but then two, because he, like, went to the job and was like, "Yo, here's my project. Look at it." No one else does that. You'd be surprised how few people do that. Oh, that's a cool car or cool. So I would definitely say, like, go to a job interview and present your projects, even if they don't really ask for them. I mean, obviously, don't be pushy about things. No one likes a pushy person, but don't be shy about it either. Alex DeBaum, from what field do you analyze your data? Mostly business, health, or HR? So I work in strategic analytics. So a lot of my data is, like, really, like, cross-functional, but I don't usually interact with supply chain data. I interact with a decent amount of financial data and a lot of store data. Like, so basically, like what are, like, operational metrics of the stores, so stuff like that. Sufyan Mazuzi. Also, if anyone hasn't already, I saw the like count go up significantly. If you haven't already liked this stream, please like this stream, as it's a tremendous way to support my channel and show the YouTube algorithm that, like, people actually like my content. Likes are probably the most important. Likes and comments are probably the most important metrics on YouTube today. So if you're able to, just go ahead and do that. Thank you so much, guys. All right. Uh, Hello, Shashank. How data analysts work in the field of digital marketing? So digital marketing, yeah, there's tons of room for analytics over there, right? Because, like, so I actually used to do a little bit of that in my old company, where we had, like, these, like, little, like, pixels all over the internet that would, like, advertise our content. We had, like, this app, and we could, like, look at, like, how people use the app and everything. So I think that digital marketing is, like, marketing's always been a place where, like, analytics is, like, king, because so many marketing dollars could be more effectively spent if people just understood their customers better. And analytics helps you get a better understanding of your customer. So so please make a video on R. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I am not actually, like, that good at R. That's the only reason I haven't made a video on it yet. But I'm definitely not against the idea of doing that. All right, I gotta go into Whole Foods and get me my beer. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Let's see. Yeah, Mr. Bobman. Yeah. So I think it's important for like analytics people to like, and it depends. You know, like I can't say all analytics people are like that because like obviously I'm sure some companies, some analytics people are like quite like necessary for the functioning of the business. But in a lot of cases, it's not like a software engineer. Where like companies need software engineers to like survive these days. Um, so I would say like definitely don't worry too much if you don't feel like you're being utilized too much. Obviously, it's good to like understand that, but don't worry too much because like again like analytics is something that like um, people may not have an immediate place to slot you into, and that's okay. Okay, Ahmad Rashid. Hello, Sean. Big fan of your work. I just got my foot in the door as a recent grad. Nice, congratulations. That's a big deal. All right. Let's see. Okay, I was wondering for startups in particular, what can I do to stand out and be a productive part of a small team? Okay, so here's the thing. Uh, have you used Turo? I have not. I really should use Turo. Okay, so Ahmad Rashid. I was wondering for. Okay, so Ahmad, to answer your question, I would say start meeting with everyone you can and just start asking them like casually, what's like the biggest pain points in your job right now, and go ahead and fix those pain points, or at least try to. You know, bring them up with your manager. I think that's a tremendous way, an easy way to start standing out. You know, as like a, oh, this guy's a go-getter. This guy's a doer. Let's put this over here. All right. Ooh, we got okay. Have you used Turo? No. Get the Supra. Okay. So Supra over the M4. That's an interesting choice. A 1991 BMW. Yeah. Oh man, those are nice cars. Tips on having great presentations. Are you from Denver originally? No, I'm actually from Texas originally. I'm Dallas, Texas. My girlfriend lives in Denver, so I'm here visiting her right now. A beginner analyst income. Can we get a minute on that? Like, what is the amount we? Okay, so I would say I started my first job as an analyst. I was a BA, but I did like data analyst work. I got paid, I think 55K in my first job. Um, Dallas, Texas, 2018. I got paid 55K in my first job. So I would say um, that's kind of like my standard of like what I think a first year analyst should get. But it changes drastically depending on like who's asking and stuff. So definitely keep an eye out for that. All right, I don't know if you guys have any recommendations for beers. We're trying to like obviously Modelo Especial is like great standard beer. Blue Moon, I'm always here for that. Let's see. IPAs. Oh man, dude, I can't take IPAs. My weak my weak constitution can't handle IPAs. Let's see. Entry level data analyst in the automotive industry. If you don't mind, would you mind telling me what company you work for? At some point in time, like I mean, I'm a huge car guy, so I would like love to get into the automotive industry at some point in time. Oh man, there's a lot of really great beers here. Maybe a sour beer. Yeah. That's not a bad idea. So we have so. Ooh, this is interesting. The True Blonde. Maybe I'll get that. But Dandy, I hope I answered your question. That's kind of like my starting salary was about 50. I think it was 50K. It may have been 55. I actually forgot now. It's been a while, but I would say that's like not a bad. Oh, Corona Refresca. Just close your eyes and point. Corona Refresca. I've never heard of that. Is it like one of those like what kind of like a white claw clone? I'm looking around there. Ooh, interesting. This one looks really interesting. Huh. Oh, it's makgeolli. I love makgeolli. Ooh, okay, Tanzania Dutch. Okay, hey, what's up, Tanzania? Good to see you again. For data, MacBook M1 or Dell XPS? I'm buying it right now at Best Buy. Ooh, okay. Oh, that's a tough one. I would say M1. I'm a big M1 guy, honestly. And especially they converted TensorFlow to work on M1s. And I think M1s are just like operating at a different level from anyone else right now. Have you tried Fax beer? No, I've not. I'm looking for it right now. So there's like a lot of these like local Colorado beers. So I'm gonna look for this Fax beer you mentioned. Yeah, Blackbird. I think yeah, like definitely work hard and you can get there. It's doable by anyone. But yeah, you definitely want to get into analytics. That's where the real big bucks are. Okay, you know what? We're just gonna go simple. We're just gonna go for this one right over here. Mile high, Hefeweizen. Oof. Okay, I probably need to get a cart for this. And then I was told to go get a mixer as well. All right, guys. So give me a second. Let me go see if I can find a cart for this stuff. It's pretty heavy. Uh, hmm. I don't see one. Do you have a favorite site for researching salary data? Yeah, it's a hard question. You're right. Like salary data can kind of be like all over the place. I'd say like Glassdoor is not a bad place, but like it's hard, man, because it's like I'll be honest, like my salaries usually are like the salaries I've been able to get are usually higher than whatever they list on Glassdoor.com, which is why I stopped looking at Glassdoor because it's just like it just doesn't seem to work for me. So I think what I would say is like if you're going for your first job, aim for around 50K, and then from there just go as high as you can. Just get the highest salary you can. Um, just negotiating up constantly, basically. If you're putting out good work and you're going for good companies, they won't mind paying you. You know. Um, let's see. All right. Myra MC, welcome, man. Great to see you. What are some things that you would do for an organization that is trying to transition from level one data dashboarding maturity to machine learning path? Oh, okay. So there's quite a few things that you could do to get there. I think the first thing is I think you fully define. There's a couple of ways you can get there. You have people who. Okay, let me put this over here for a second, and let me get my mixer. Sorry, guys, give me 1 second. Let me see if I can get a. I'll supposed to buy a mixer, so. Oh, interesting. Okay, Italian soda. All right, so now I have to find some way to take all this to the cash register. So I guess I'll put you all over there. All right, so yeah, Mariam, to answer your question, that's a good one. Okay, so usually what I've seen at organizations is that they will have like the supply chain group or like the financial group that like start doing more and more advanced things with their analytics. And I personally think that's kind of like the best way to go about it is to have like a specific team that like will solve some of their whatever questions they have with progressively more and more advanced methods. I think another great way of doing it, as far as like the practicalities are concerned, start bringing in people who have those skills already. Sorry about that. Yeah, start bringing in people with the skills that like who already have those skills already. I have to show my ID to buy alcohol, apparently. Thank you. Oh, interesting. Do you work at Nordstrom, by the way? That's we have some stores in Canada. All right. Yeah. So I think there are two ways to do it. Yeah. Either like it usually just comes like automatically from a certain part of the org that like uses analytics in a progressively more and more advanced ways. But another way to do it, I think, is to like just start hiring specialists in the area. Maybe not consultants so much, but like hire like individuals who have like Python SQL, and machine learning skills under their belt already, and obviously test them on it. And if you want to like, if you don't have the skills in your organization already, like test people on that, hire a consultant like on Upwork or something that is able to test for those skills, and then have bring those professionals into your organization. So like recently at Nordstrom, we brought in this person, Agnes, who's this like really smart person. So we already have like machine learning and stuff going on in our org, but our software development skills are not tremendous within the strategic analytics organization. And she's come in and she's like really brought in a lot of great practices for us to like have as far as like actually doing our actually productionalizing our environment. So I think that's kind of like my advice towards it. Sorry about the distraction, guys. I was trying to like juggle all the stuff all at once. All right. Delupala Barthu. Hey man, I just wanted to thank you for the hands-on ML playlist. Been watching this. Hey, thank you so much, man. I'm glad you like them. Do companies care about gap years? Not really. I think as long as you can like show you have the skills. Like we're hiring at Nordstrom right now. By the way, if anyone's interested, let me know. We're hiring a lot at Nordstrom right now, and as long as you are able to like do the job, I don't care how many gap years you have, really. You know. All right, let's see what else we got. Possibilities for transitioning from a reporting and automation role into data analytics, data science. Use Tableau a lot. Tableau is a great way to transition into analytics and data science. And then pick up SQL and pick up Python. That's usually my advice. And I think that's a great way to transition. Sweet, sweet. And always, let me know if you need help interviewing people, because I interview for these positions quite consistently. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Man, I'm getting tired of lugging around this pizza and everything. It's been great today. A little bit less than an hour. Let me put this over here. But I have to do the baseball game right now. So it's been great hanging out with you guys. Hope you have a good day. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below, and I might be able to get to them. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment. It's a great way to actually support the channel. And if you're able to, I have a Patreon as well that if you guys support, helps me continue to like put out this content. So thank you guys so much for your time and have a good day.